Hey everyone, how's it going? Muthurajah back with a new video lesson for you all. So usually I play longer intros, but I decided to keep this one short because I want you to actually rewind and listen to that and tell me if you hear a difference. Okay? And if you can hear a difference, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think are the differences. I want to actually talk about that with a bit of detail actually. So one thing you would always hear when you're working and playing with people is that the word time field, time. Also, on a total side note, I forgot to mention this and I just remembered while editing the video. We just crossed 40,000 subscribers. So to celebrate this occasion, I'm doing a 40% discount on the website on all ebooks and stuff like that. And I also am running a very limited time lesson package at a 40% discount as well. You can find more details in the description. Okay, and if you have any questions, of course you can ask away. Thank you so much, and on to the lesson. Feeling the beat, the way the guy feels a quarter note, man, the way she feels a quarter note, the way they do, like that feel component is a very important part to why certain musicians like to play with certain people, right? We choose people, of course, the hang is important. The person has to be cool to hang with, has to have the ability to play, but it's also this feel component. Sure, emotional feel can be considered feel as well, but this time feel thing is a very elusive thing to understand. And I want to share with you how you can develop this for yourself and how you can hear these things in other players. And you might also start to notice a pattern of how you tend to dig a certain player, mainly because of possibly the time feel more than anything else. Okay, so without kind of getting lost in this, we're going to start in the middle. Okay, so there's basically three ways we can play time, and starting in the middle would mean being right on top of the beat. Okay, and what that basically means is metronomically speaking. For example, for every click of the metronome, every note you play will very perfectly align. Okay, so I want to use just this simple example of this eighth note climb down from like a C Dorian kind of a sound. Okay, and to really exaggerate this example, I'm going to play long notes, short notes. Okay, so this is what being on top of the beat would sound like with a metronome. Short notes. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. It's extremely functional. Anyone can play on top of it. Anyone can sing on top of it. Anyone can groove on top of it. So it's very direct. It relays the information in time. It grooves, and pretty simple. And then before we look at what usually most people work on, let's look at what it is to be ahead of the beat. What does that even mean? Does that mean we actually play faster? Not really. What we actually do is we start to push it a little bit, because one thing about time is that time works periodically, and the way you play these eighth notes within the space of the two quarter notes, there are so many ways you can actually play it. You can play it very evenly, which would give you the very on top of the beat sound. So let's try and listen to what it would sound like if I was actually ahead of the beat, trying to push it a little bit. Short notes. On top of the beat. Pushing. On top. Push. So towards the end of that, you might actually hear quite a difference between being right on top versus being a little ahead. When you're a little ahead, it gives you more momentum. It's something, let's say if you're playing a live gig, and this is obviously assuming you're not playing with tracks, but even if you're playing with tracks, this is very doable with a metronome. You could push the chorus. Maybe the chorus needs to be pushed. Maybe the verse needs to be on top of the beat. Maybe the bridge lays back a little bit. So speaking of layback, let's look at that. So again, what I want you to pay attention to is my first note. When I am pushing the beat, it is a hair earlier than the click. Like when I mean hair, I literally mean hair. So behind the beat would work the same way behind the click. So what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to play on top of the beat, and then I'm going to start playing behind, and you will start to notice that it starts to feel swung and it starts to groove a little differently. It feels heavier almost. Okay, so long notes and then short notes. On top of the beat, 2, 3, 4. Behind the beat. It's actually harder to do with longer notes. Short on top, short behind, you will start to feel how it almost sounds edgy and wobbly, right? So being ahead or behind gives you a very edgy and wobbly feel. Being on top is more grounded and concrete. So this is usually hard to hear from the get-go, right? So what I want you to try is just take this 4-note sequence that I'm playing, 8th notes. Try to sit with the metronome and get it point blank on. So you don't want any flam. Very dead on, even notes, then push it. Okay, and when I push, I don't do this. 4. I'm not changing the time. The time is still there, but I'm just pushing these guys a little bit. Pull it back. And then what starts to happen is that when you play, especially when you start to play fills, depending on the context of the tune, you will really feel how certain time feels will really change the feeling of the entire phrase. So I'm going to play a simple pentatonic fill descending from G just down to E flat, C minor pentatonic. I'm going to play on top of the beat, fill, pushing the beat, fill, behind the beat, fill. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Pushing it. Behind. 3, 4. On top fill, but behind the beat groove. Pushing the fill. Okay, so I have to point this out. There is a big difference between pushing the beat and playing behind the beat versus playing out of time. Whatever you do, don't change the time. Keep the time. Really focus in on it and pay attention to it and listen closely. Okay, so I hope this helps. I thought this is an interesting topic to talk about, and I decided to do this video. All right, so I'll see you all in the shed until the next one. Peace.